Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about setting up an email account for your business and give you the differences between whether you should use a free Gmail account or if you should use a paid Google Workspace account. So let's get right into it. Hey, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jake Full, and I built a six-figure blogging business all on the side while I was working my 9-to-5 job. And I was able to quit my job and go full-time as an entrepreneur, doing what I love every single day. And I want to teach you exactly how to do the same. And so if that sounds interesting, make sure to click the link in the description below and sign up for my free 30-minute blogging masterclass. It's an entire overview of blogging and affiliate marketing and how easy it is to get your own website started, create a brand online, and start generating passive income every single month, because I have built entire website templates in a box that you can import in less than 1 minute. And then I also have over 400 individual website templates that you can mix and match however you would like to create pages and blog posts 10 times faster than anybody else out there. And so make sure to click that link in the description below and get signed up for the free training. And let's get back to the video. All right, so let's talk about email for your business. So having an email address for your business is extremely important because this is something that will eventually go on your website. It's how people are going to get in contact with you, whether they're trying to set up a sponsorship, ask you a question, contact support, or whatever it might be. So there are two routes you can take. You can either use a free Gmail account here, and that would be something like yourcompany@gmail.com. Or if you're doing a personal branding route, it might be yourname@gmail.com. And there's a few things that I want to talk about with that. So the first thing is that this route is free, which is obviously good, and you won't have to pay for anything. But one of the big downsides of using a free Gmail account is it's not nearly as professional, and people may not take you as seriously if you have just a simple Gmail account on your website, or if you're reaching out to other people later down the road and they see that you're using a free Gmail account. It's just not as professional looking as having your own branded domain name. I know that I have been contacted hundreds and hundreds of times from other people, and I definitely do not take people as seriously if they just are using a regular Gmail account. But if they do have a branded domain name and have something like their name at theircompany.com, I'm going to take them a lot more seriously that way. And another nice perk of any free Gmail account is there is a decent amount of free storage for things such as Google Drive and all of the other apps that Google gives you for free. And so now let's talk about a Google Workspace account. And what this allows you to do is have your own branded domain name instead of an @gmail.com account. And so one of the only downsides with this is that it does have a cost of around $6 a month per user that you have on there. But I think at $6 a month, it's a no-brainer, and it's something that I invested in very early in my business, and I'm so glad that I did, because having that branded domain name for my email has made things so much easier, especially as I branched out and started creating digital products and then offered support and things like that. I was able to have different email addresses such as support@startblogging101.com. And so I think for this very minimal cost, it is well worth it. The second thing that I've already talked about a little bit is that this is much more professional than using a free Gmail account. And if you do ever reach out to people in the future, or if you're offering support on your website, or really anything that has to do with email with your business, it is going to look so much more professional coming from a branded domain name. So in our case of the personal branding route, we could create a Google Workspace account and have an email address such as ethan@ethanblackwell.com, or it might be natalie@bynatwood.com, or whatever domain name it is that you're using. And then Google Workspace has a ton of different perks, and many of them I don't even actually use myself. But one of the nicest things that I like is it does give you extra storage for things such as Google Drive. And so if you are wanting to host all of these different files for your website to make things easier, I use Google Drive for all of that. I back up my website to Google Drive. And then another thing I use all the time is Google Meet. And so I have meetings with my brothers or other people that I'm meeting about the business, and you aren't limited to a certain amount of minutes or anything like that. So if you do want to go the free Gmail route, I think that that's pretty self-explanatory. You can just search Gmail on Google, and there's a very easy sign up to be able to do that. But if you do want to be more professional and go down the Google Workspace route, then here is the Google Workspace page here, and you can simply just search Google Workspace on Google, and you'll see that it says grow your business more efficiently with Google Workspace and Duet AI. And then if you scroll down here, they do have a free 14-day trial if you do want to give it a try. before you buy. And then I do just want to mention down here, all that I have ever been using for my website is this business starter plan. Like I said, it's $6 a month per user. And then a nice thing is that you can have different aliases or different emails and they all count towards one. And so you might have a primary email address that might be ethan@ethanblackwell.com, but then you can create aliases for different email addresses. And so you might have sales@ethanblackwell.com or support@ethanblackwell.com, and none of those count towards your limit, and it's still only $6 a month. And so for my case with Start Blogging 101, I have my primary email set to hello@startblogging101.com, but then I have a sales alias, I have a support alias, I have Jake@startblogging101 as an alias, and that's really nice. So if you want to get started with the business starter plan, I'm going to click on the Get Started button right here. And then for your business name here, I am plugging in my first and last name since I'm going down the personal branding route. But if you have your own branded company name, you can enter that here. For the number of employees, I am clicking that it's just me. And I am in the United States, so I'm going to click next. Now here it's asking for our contact info, so I'm just going to type Ethan and then Blackwell. And then I'm going to put in my current email address and click next. All right, so then we get a screen that says, how do you want to set up your Google Workspace? So it says with a gmail.com address, which we do not want. But then the first option is with a your-company.com address. And that is the one we want since that looks a lot more professional. And you can click into here to see a little more details of all the things that you get. So I'm going to select this first option here. And now it says, does your business have a domain? And yes, we have purchased our domain through Cloudflare already. And so I'm going to click yes, I have one that I can use. And now it says enter your business's domain name. You'll use it to set up a custom address such as info@example.com. And they're going to walk you through that. And so I'm just going to come in here and type ethanblackwell.com. And I'm going to click next. And now it's just a verification step that says use this domain to set up the account. And I'm just verifying that that looks correct. And I'm going to click next. So here on this screen, it has a username and password. And this is what you're going to use to sign into Google Workspace. And you can see when I click into here, it says @ethanblackwell.com. And so I'm just going to use the name Ethan@ethanblackwell.com for my username. And then I'm going to plug in a password here, do the verification here, and then click agree and continue. All right, so I've plugged in my username and password, and then Google Workspace has this page here that says a plan for you, and that they recommend the Business Plus plan, which is around $22 a month. And then there's a button to try free for 14 days. And there unfortunately isn't a way to downgrade here or X out of this. And so I'm definitely not a fan of this part of the sign up process. And this was not there when I first signed up a few years ago. But I have looked it up, and what people say to do is to try free for 14 days, and then you can immediately go in and downgrade your account back to the starter plan. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click try free for 14 days. And then here is the review and checkout page. You can see that it did put us on the Business Plus plan at $22 a month, and it says your first 14 days are at no charge. But like I said, you should go in and downgrade back to the business starter plan so that you're only paying around $6 a month. And then down here, it has our name and address. So I'm going to fill that all out, and you would put in your primary contact information and then add your credit card. I'm going to use a business credit card since this is a business expense that I'm going to write off. And then I'm going to come down and click agree and continue. All right, I put in all my contact information and my billing details and clicked agree and continue. And here's just a little disclaimer here stating that the Workspace administrator, which is going to be you, is the one who manages the account, and that the data associated with it is all handled by that account. And so I'm just going to click I understand. All right, sweet. So we are ready to go, and it says welcome to the admin console. And so I'm going to click next. And here's a little modal saying we need to complete a couple of steps before we can start using all the services. So I'm going to click next. All right, so the very first step for Google Workspace here is to protect your domain. And so they need to just verify that you are the person that actually owns that domain. And then the second step, once we get to it, is to create custom email addresses. And these are going to be the aliases that I was talking about, such as sales@ethanblackwell.com. And so I'm going to click next. And then the third step is going to be to activate Gmail for ethanblackwell.com. And so if you had a different hosting provider for your email, whether that was through web hosting or through something else, this is where you'll redirect it. Otherwise, we are just starting off from scratch, and we're just going to add a few records to our DNS in Cloudflare, which I'll show you how to do. And it does say here, don't worry if some of these steps are technical, they're going to guide you step by step. So I'm just going to click finish. finish. All right, so now we're into doing each of these steps. So like I said, step 1 is to protect our account. And so we basically just need to verify to Google that we are the actual person that owns that domain name and that it's not someone else coming in here and just trying to spoof it. And so I'm gonna click on the protect item right here. All right, and a little modal comes up and it says protect your domain. And so in order to make sure that no one else can use your domain to sign up for Google Workspace, they basically have you add a DNS record to your account using Cloudflare. And so I'm going to click, I'm ready to protect my domain. And actually, we may not even need to add a DNS manually. It looks like we can just sign into Cloudflare.com to verify to Google that we do in fact own that domain. So I'm going to click on the item here that says sign in to verify for Cloudflare.com. All right, so a screen comes up that says log into Cloudflare. So I'm going to enter in my credentials here for Cloudflare and I'm going to click login. All right, awesome. This is really, really nice because you don't even need to go and manually add anything. It's going to do it automatically for you. And so this screen just says to authorize DNS records that are coming from Google. And so Google is going to automatically just add this TXT file that has this little snippet in here that just tells Google, hey, we're the person that actually owns this website. And so I'm going to click authorize here. All right, so now it's just going and verifying your domain. So it's going to go and make sure that the value that Google just added does indeed exist on that website. This may take just a few minutes, but just wait and it should be done soon. All right, awesome. So that only took about 1 minute. And now you can see that there is a check mark next to our first step, which says that we have in fact protected our domain name.com. All right, so the second step here says to create new users. And we actually don't have any additional users. All we need to do is go and add different alias email addresses, such as sales@ethanblackwell.com or hello@ethanblackwell.com or whatever you want. And so we'll actually do that a little later in the dashboard. And so this step right here, you don't actually need to go through it, but if you do and you click create here, it says, hey, add your team's email accounts and things like that. And so I'm just gonna click continue. And you can see that it says create new users for your team. But if you do have multiple users, it is going to charge per user. But like I said, we are only a solo user. And so we don't need to add any other user. And so if I just click continue here, it just brings us back to this page here. And so we'll go and set up aliases later in our dashboard shortly here. All right, and then this third step says to activate Gmail for ethanblackwell.com. And so if I click activate here, you can see it says before you begin, make sure that all existing email addresses for our domain have been added. And so just to be safe, I'm going to go in and add different email aliases first. And so if you were on a different email hosting, like I mentioned before, you might be through your web hosting provider or have some sort of different email hosting provider. You'll want to make sure to go into Google Workspace and add all of the aliases that people might be sending email to, because once we switch these records, they say that it can take anywhere from 2 to 3 days to fully swap everything over to Google Workspace so that you're getting all your emails through here. But if you're just getting started, this is not something that you're going to need to worry about at all. And so I'm actually just going to cancel out of this step here, and we're just going to go to the Google dashboard and add our email aliases, and then we can do this just a little later. So I'm going to come up here and click the Google admin logo right here. All right, so here on the Google admin dashboard, before we do anything, we are going to go and downgrade to the business starter plan that we wanted initially. And so under billing here, you can also access it in the left-hand sidebar here. I'm going to click on manage, and then you can see that it has the Google Workspace Business Plus plan listed. And so I'm going to click on that. And so here's a little information about the Google Business Plus plan, which like I said is right around $22 a month. And that is not what we want. And so we're going to click on this first option here that says upgrade or downgrade. And here's a list of the different plans. And you can see there's a check mark that says purchased on the Google Workspace Business plan. But all we want is the Google Business Starter Plan, which starts at right around $6 a month. And so I'm going to click on the button that says downgrade for the Business Starter Plan. And then here is the page that confirms that you are switching plans, and it will tell you some things that you won't get or whatever, but it's not a big deal. The Business Starter Plan is plenty of storage and everything that you will need to get started. And so I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here, and I'm going to click next. And then here is the option of whether you want the flexible plan, which has no long-term commitment, and you can pay on a month-by-month basis. And then it's $7.20 a month, so it's just a little bit more per month if you choose that option. Otherwise, you can do the annual plan. And any services that I personally use, I usually just do the annual plan because I know that I'm going to be using them for at least a year, and then you tend to save a little bit of money. But in this case, it's not really a huge difference in price either way. And so you can just choose whatever you feel is best for you. So if you don't want a long-term commitment and don't think that you're going to use Google Workspace for a year, you can just choose the flexible plan. Otherwise, if you know you're going to be using this for at least a year or much longer for your business, then I would just go with the annual plan. And then once you have the plan chosen that you want, then you'll just click checkout. So here's the checkout page. It says that we're on the business starter plan, which is what we want. I chose the flexible plan for this tutorial. And then I'm going to click place order. All right, awesome. So it says, thanks for your purchase. And it confirms that we're now on the business starter plan. So I'm going to X out of here. And you can see that since we had that 14-day free trial with Google Workspace, it does say that paid service starts in 13 days. And then that's when you can expect to see your first bill. So now I'm going to go up to home in the left-hand side on the sidebar here. And now we can start by setting up our Alias email addresses. And one of the first items here is users. And you can see that the fourth option here says to create an alternate email address, which is an email alias. So we're going to click on that, and it says enter the user who needs an alternate email. And so I'm just going to type our main email here. So ethan@ethanblackwell.com, and it pops right up. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click proceed. And then here it says alternate email address, which is an email alias. And it says you can give this user up to 30 alternate emails at no cost. And so that's really nice. But do keep in mind that whatever primary email that you initially set up, that is going to be the only one that you can sign in with into Google Workspace. So my primary email that I set up was ethan@ethanblackwell.com. And so that is going to be the username that I can use to sign into Google Workspace. And if I create a different alias, such as sales@ethanblackwell.com, I can't sign in with that name because it's just an alias. So I'm going to come in here and just add a few different alternate email addresses that you might want to use for your business. So I'm going to click in here, and I'm first going to type support here, and you can see our domain automatically pops up. So I'm going to have support@ethanblackwell.com. I'm going to have hello@ethanblackwell.com, sales@ethanblackwell.com. And I think that should be it. So we have ethan@ethanblackwell.com, which is our primary. We can have hello@ethanblackwell.com, which is just a little more friendly, and maybe you want to point someone to that email address when they're just getting started with something. You have support if you ever want to offer support on your website and have people contact you through there. And then we have sales@ethanblackwell.com. And then I'm just going to come down to the lower right and click save. All right, awesome. So we have all of our primary information on the left-hand side here that says Ethan Blackwell with our primary email of ethan@ethanblackwell.com. And then we have 3 different alternate emails that we set up, which is support, hello, and sales. And like it said, you can add up to 30 different email aliases. So that's really nice. And I'm going to come over to the left-hand sidebar here and click home. And so now that we have our email aliases set up, you can see that there is a little alert right here. And this was for the third step, which we ended up skipping. And it says to set up your MX records to direct your business emails through Gmail. And so I'm going to click on the button here that says set up MX records. And it brings us back to this little walkthrough that we were just going through. And so I'm going to click on the activate button here. And so now we have all of the alias email addresses added for our account. And so that should be good to go. And now it just says, is now the best time to update your email settings, because it says after you activate Gmail, updates can take up to 48 hours. But in the meantime, you will still get emails to your old email client if you were using a different email client. But again, if you're just starting off, this is not a big deal and you won't have to worry about anything. So I'm going to click on I'm ready to activate Gmail. And once again, this is super nice because when I signed up for this years ago, I had to go in and manually add records into Cloudflare, which is really not that hard, but it's just maybe slightly technical. But now you can simply just come in and sign into Cloudflare just like we did for the first step where we verified our domain name, and Google will go and automatically add the records needed for this. So I'm going to click on the button that says sign in to activate, and this will sign us back into Cloudflare. And you should already be signed into Cloudflare from the first step here. And so you can see that it has all of these MX records. And so these are different DNS records that are used for email hosting and help define which servers you should be using. And so it adds all of them in there for you automatically with all of the proper settings. And so I'm just going to click authorize. All right, so now similarly to the first step, it says we're activating Gmail, and it's going to go and update the email settings and make sure that all of those records that it just put onto your domain through Cloudflare exist. And so just wait a minute or two and this will be done. All right, nice. So now Gmail is activated for ethanblackwell.com. Like Google said, it can take up to 48 hours for new emails to start coming into your email account. So if you send a test email to yourself and it doesn't come through immediately, don't freak out because it will eventually update and it will all come through your new email address now. And now I'm not going to go through the rest of the dashboard here or anything like that. But once you create your own logo, which I'll show you how to do, you can come in here and add that here. You can even have like a custom logo show up in the upper right here. And so it's just a really nice branded experience and just feels so much more professional than having a free Gmail account. But I did go and send a test email to Ethan at ethanblackwell.com. And so I'm going to click up here to the Google Apps and I'm going to go into my Gmail here. And it says, welcome to Gmail. And I'm just going to X out of this modal. And hey, look at that. I have a test email in here from Start Blogging 101 that says testing. It says, hey, what's up? Hello. And so already I'm getting emails to this new email account. And so that is awesome. And now you have a super nice branded email that you can use. And it's going to be so much more professional for when you're reaching out or contacting other people further along in your business journey. And then one little trick here that I want to show you that will definitely help you out here is I'm going to come up to the settings wheel in the upper right here and click on that. And then there's an item right under here that says see all settings. So I'm going to choose that. And then there are all these tabs up here. And so if you click on the accounts tab right here, there's an item that says send mail as, and it says Ethan Blackwell, and it says Ethan at ethanblackwell.com. And so if you want to add other emails that you want to send email as, such as your aliases, you can add that here. So I'm going to click add another email address, and here it says the name. And so I'm going to leave the name the same, such as Ethan Blackwell, but I'm going to put a new email address in here, such as support at ethanblackwell.com. And there's an item here that says treat it as an alias, which is check, which is what we want. And then I'm going to click next step. And you can see that that added a second email that we can send mail as. So I'm going to add another email address here. And then in here, I'm going to type hello at ethanblackwell.com. Leave it checked as an alias and click next step. So that adds that one. And then I'm going to add one more here. And for this one, I'm going to type sales at ethanblackwell.com. Checked as an alias, and next step. All right, so now we have 4 different aliases that we can send our mail as, and this is just a nice little hack that you can use. And we have the default set to Ethan at ethanblackwell.com, which for a personal branding option makes perfect sense, and you might only ever use that option. But if you do have a branded company name, you might want to send from different email aliases, and you can obviously come in here and change these names to be whatever you want. And so if there's something that makes more sense for that specific email address, you can change that name. But now when we come to compose a new email in Gmail here, I'm going to click this. Now you can see there's a new item that says from, and it says Ethan Blackwell. And then in the little brackets here, it says Ethan at ethanblackwell.com. But now there's a drop down. And so if you click that, now you can choose any of the 4 aliases that we have set up, and that is the email that will show when someone goes to receive the email. And so I just wanted to show you that because it's something that I think is really nice and something that I really like about Google Workspace, and being able to have different aliases that you can receive mail from and that you can send mail from. And so that's everything that I wanted to show you for sending email with the aliases. So I'm going to X out of this. And then also, if you are interested in the Google Meet feature, which like I said is something that I use very often to meet with other people, you can see that there is a meet option on the left-hand side here. So I'm going to click on that. And here is where you can set up a new meeting. So you can choose new meeting here. It will give you a special code for that meeting. You can click this button to copy it, and then you can send that invite to people, whoever you would like, or you can join the meeting now. And so this is another really nice perk with Google Workspace because you aren't limited in your Google Meets and the amount of time that you have and things like that. All right, so that is how you go and set up your Google Workspace account so that you can have your very own custom branded domain name and look so much more professional when you're going and reaching out to other people later down the road with your business or when having people contact you from your website. I hope that this video helped you out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.